recorded live.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's topic, Corpus Delicti. I want to pose a question, and I want you people to think on what we're going to get into tonight, because paperwork is only as good, and you can have the very best paperwork written by anybody, but if you can't walk it, you can't talk it. It's no different than you having the best race car, the fastest race car. If you can't drive it, you're not going to win the race. What we're getting into, a lot of people think if I just file the paperwork, that solves my problem. No, it don't. You've got to be able to understand what is in that paperwork. You've got to be able to sit down, if you get questioned, be able to challenge it and explain it. You've got to have more answers than they got questions. You've got to overwhelm them with information. Just because you've got the fastest car and it makes the loudest noise and it revs up and got higher RPM, if you cannot drive that thing, it doesn't mean squat. And that's something that we need to understand here with what we're doing and using paperwork. And we go, whose paperwork you use? You better be able to explain it. You better be able to understand it. What we have talked about here in the past few days or a few weeks was the Corpus Delicti, but we also talked about the entry of appearance, the necessity of this. You're being charged. Your name's being charged. We've always got drug in, and we never filed an enter of appearance into any case because we assume that using our name, we're walking in, and even though we understand that's not our name because that belongs to the trust side of the name, it belongs to the state for them to get federal grant money. It's our name, but yet it's not us. It's the trust side. And this is where under Title 26, 7701, and under Washington, D.C. Vital Statistics, under the Birth Certificate of Chapter 2 of 7201, identifies a person as a trust, as an estate, as a joint stock. This is where the issue comes in. We've actually found the wording on it. But whenever we're being drugged into these courts, we need to file that enter of appearance, and we need to come in and we need to name the state as a fictitious entity. No known address, no known known person by this name. Undisclosed identity, totally undisclosed. We want to go back and we want to make that all capital name a registered trade name, a trust, a ward, a joint stock that the government has a vested interest in. And we want to get into this because we're going to break some stuff down here for a lot of different areas that we're going to talk about here that really need an understanding on. And coming in and listing that name as a ward, as a trust, as an estate, government registered trade name, state-owned name, we need to make that separation that they own it. They're collecting off of it. They're collecting the federal grant on this. They're reaping the benefits. They're reaping the rewards. They are the receiver. They are the administrator. They are the trustee, and they are the beneficiary of it because they are receiving all the federal grant towards that name. They are being paid for that name. That's the point here. Think about what's being said here. They are being paid for that name. They're collecting federal grants for that name. So when they're charging that name, they're charging it under a statutory setup. They're charging it as an employee. They're charging it as a administrative issue, whether it be deceased, whether it's probating the trust. But nevertheless, they are dealing with this. Hold on. All right. But they are receiving federal grants on this every fiscal year. We pointed this out in the Social Security Act of 1935. They are receiving. Every time you go down for different places for your license, driver's license, they always pull your Social Security number and they flip it over and they get that routing number off the back. Therefore, they are receiving and they are registering it for their state. This is where the issue's coming in. Is they are collecting, and you've got to get that in your mind. You've got to get that in your mind. They are collecting. They are receiving. They are the receiver. They are the administrator. They are the executor. They're the trustee. They're the beneficiary. You aren't getting anything out of this. They're not covering any bills. They're receiving. So when they're charging that name, that birth name, and that's what it is, it's the birth name, they're embezzling. Now, where's the Corpus Delicti come into this? Corpus Delicti comes into this on the foundation that there's no injured party. They're purely charging that birth name on this. They are purely charging that birth name. There's never an injured party. And I want you people to go back and I want you to look at the 4th Amendment and 5th Amendment of the Constitution. 4th Amendment, search and seizure. 5th Amendment is to self-incrimination, of being able to be interrogated. But I want you people to think here. According to the Constitution, in order for them to search, in order for them to interrogate, there had to be somebody that was injured. They have to be an affidavit. There has to be a complaint filed. And it can't be the police officer, because he's charging you under a statute. There had to be an injured party, and Supreme Court has ruled if there is no injured party, the court has no jurisdiction in this issue. No injured party, no jurisdiction. It's that simple. Just that simple.